Just looking at the state of play for the administration, is Trump where he wants to be?
Yeah, Trump is where he wants to be. That's for sure. And look, I mean, you know, we look at the grades. I think you're right. 6 months in, you want to give him grades. We can give him a D in math, right? Because I think the tariffs are a complete mess. I think they spend too much money. But when it comes to things like energy and the environment, you got to give him an A. The deregulation going on is creating all this amazing opportunity. He's bringing a lot of money in here. It'll stabilize the economy and all that. But I think, you know, not to jump ahead of you, but, you know, the issues they're going to have to really pay attention to are going to be inflation and jobs coming down the road. About a year from now, they could really get hit hard with inflation, and that's ultimately what voters care about. You can look at all these other small data points. But look, as long as Hunter Biden keeps doing interviews, I think the Republican Party is going to be fine. And I'd like to make my quick push to your senior team there, Michael Corn, if you're listening. Hunter Biden every night at 9 o'clock after Chris Cuomo, ratings gold.
You're terrible. Ameshia, when you look at what is happening on the left as response to this administration, what do you like? What do you not like?
Well, I like that Democrats are pushing him on cost of living, pushing him on affordability. I think that because Donald Trump ran very strongly, I would argue, on affordability, he got a lot of people out to the polls, many of whom were first-time voters, younger voters, and people who had previously voted Democrat. Those same working-class voters are feeling the pain. And we know energy costs are going to go up. We know prices of certain goods are going to go up, largely due to the tariffs that the governor just mentioned. But in addition to that, the question is going to be whether or not their lives have gotten better. And I would argue that for many of them, specifically who voted on affordability, they're going to argue no. I think that Democrats have a little bit of a quagmire when it comes to immigration. First and foremost, because this president has greatly reduced a lot of the border issues, particularly the crossings at the border, and that's something that he promised when he ran. But in addition to that, what we've seen is that even though his numbers have kind of tilted a little bit, and like you, I'm a little pessimistic about the polling, even though his numbers have tilted a little bit, we have not seen a great amount of pushback against a lot of his enforcement procedures. And I think that for Democrats, you know, the focus on affordability has to stay there. The focus on the working class has to stay there. They had a brief window with the Big Beautiful Bill Act, and that quickly dissipated. So at this point, you know, latching on to what's going on with the Epstein files is something that we've seen. I don't think that trends necessarily for voters on the ground. My hope is that they stick with affordability. My hope is that they continue to expand into the states. We've seen plans for that because, as the governor knows very well, the race for the White House, as well as the race for, you know, taking over Congress, happens in the states, not in D.C. So as much as they can get out of the Beltway, it's going to be helpful.
You know, Chris, you know, you two guys are both focused on the issues that will attach to the majority in this country, right? And that's why, which is one of the reasons I love you two, because you got your head on the right macro. But that is not where these two political factions are, right? They are more than happy to fight it out on the extremes. Epstein, you know, look, why are the Democrats into Epstein? Because it's bad for Trump. This has never been an issue of transparency or any kind of concern for kids with them before. But how does Trump respond to it? You know, having Gabbard go out with his DNI thing that is half-baked at this point, at best, talking about the Cleveland Indians. They prefer the extremes. Are they setting themselves up by doing that, Gov?
Yes. It's trouble. The Epstein thing is not going away. He's praying that one of the courts opens up unseals a lot of that information effectively for him. If they choose not to do that, believe me, the ultra right wing is not going to sit back and say, well, I guess the president tried. No, it's really going to be on him. So he's got definitely a problem there in fracturing his base. And I agree with everything, Alicia, what she just said. I mean, that is spot on. I think come right after the 26 midterms, you're going to see the Democrat Party galvanize in a positive way for them. I think you're going to have governors step up, you know, whether it's Shapiro or Whitmer or, I mean, maybe Gavin. We hope, as Republicans, we hope it's Gavin, by the way. But other governors step up from middle ground states that know how to talk in a bipartisan way, that know how to talk with a leadership position, and really take some of these issues for the Democratic Party. So what I tell the Republicans all the time is, you've got about 18 months to really get stuff done and show results, because you can't, assume the Democrats are going to be a mess into perpetuity. I think they have a generational problem, but there will be some practical leaders that step forward here and galvanize this party. I do think Trump is going to get a win on immigration next year. I think he's going to back off of this whole mass deportation stuff. He's already talking about it. He's already talking about, easing up for farmers and those, a lot of the workers that are here and have been here. That's the key. And if he can get that passed,
that's
Democrats going to vote against it? I mean, that's going to be trouble for the Democrats and a big win for him in 26.
Here's the pivot. And Ameshia, I'll have you weigh in on this and just give me a quickie, please. That's the opportunity for Democrats. You mentioned affordability. You're right. You guys are just tripping over your own feet with this socialism stuff that you got to figure out, because that doesn't connect to the majority. But there's no reason that the left can't weigh in about how to do better than what we're seeing with ICE right now. There's an opportunity for legislation here for them to put forward.
No, absolutely, because there's no misunderstanding that Trump's approach has been sloppy at best. It was a lot more expansive than what he ran on. And quite frankly, there are certain sectors of our economy that would not be able to run at all without a certain level of immigrant participation. And I think that the president recognizes that. He said it multiple times. The issue he's going to have is factions within his own base are all or nothing. And to be fair, there are some Democrats who are also all or nothing on certain issues. So not saying that we're free and clear here, but I think that the president's going to have to work very strategically to get some people on board. But in addition to that, while they're trying to figure it out, Democrats have to press a lot harder, because they recognize what I think the president recognizes as well, and they need to put something on the table fast.
Ameshia Cross, you're amazing. Governor Sununu, you're already better than I am at TV. I hate that. Thank you both very much. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.